I'm back. And as you can see, it looks a little different than usual. Why? Because we're in our new offices. Finally.
Yes, thankfully.
I know.
Yeah, it's great setup.
It's a great setup. So this is actually the podcast room because that now we're going to phase 2 of the build out. But at least we are all together in one space.
Yes.
So let's just go to the questions at Tony Chambers 6864. What specifically should I buy? Gold coins or what? So I'm protected. Something you can actually use that would make sense. I need advice on what to buy. Well, that's pretty much why you call us, because we really, everything we do, the strategy is very customized to you. You can address that. I mean, this is what you do all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is the most important part about your strategy is your goals, right? So we want to meet you where you're at to help you get to where you need to be. And it's a comprehensive, total bird's eye view of your finances, both where you're at right now and how to protect yourself for this coming currency reset. So, I mean, the easiest thing to do is, like you said, just give us a call. You can set an appointment. There's a QR code. There's links in the description. And just have that complimentary discussion with one of the strategy specialists.
Right.
And you'll be able to walk away at the end of it with a concrete plan in your hands that you can actually then work on implementing.
Exactly. So that's really the best thing, because you can't just go blanket. Though there are other companies out there, they don't really understand currency life cycles, and so they just do blanket. Everybody should be stacking this, everybody should be stacking that. Whereas we get more into the nitty-gritty because we've studied currency life cycles. Personally, I've studied them since 1987, and so that's what we're implementing. So please call us and get your own strategy in place. You will get specifics. It's just hard to know because we don't know what you're trying to accomplish, what your circumstances are, and what you have to work with. But make that call and you'll make educated choices, because that's what we're all about, is education. And guess what? You can disagree with us, and we're still here to support any and all of your efforts.
What a concept.
Yep. So this is from Ian MC 6063. Lynette, serious question. How can the Comex have 1 ounce of silver when there's been $10 arbitrage for months? This makes no sense to me. I'm beginning to think the Comex is neighbors with Fort Knox. Yeah, they are. And actually, that was one of the holes, and I told you this, that I promise you, because I realize that you guys don't really understand the spot market. So we're talking about Comex. So next week, I promise you, and we may even just do that on the live, where I'm going to show you the truth about the Comex and how you know that it's the truth. And remember, I give you links to everything. So follow those links, because you're right. It makes no sense, but it's simple, really, because the Comex is all about contracts, whether it's one contract that controls 500 ounces or 250 ounces. And of course, they want to democratize the markets, which means transfer the risk to you. You can buy 1 ounce contracts now, right? So if you can just have 1 week worth of patience, unless something major happens between now and next Tuesday, then I will explain it, and I will show you, and I will give you links so you can do your own follow-up with that. Because this is really important for you to know. How many times can you be lied to and you do not know the truth?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, like you said, it's a manipulated paper market. If there's nothing physical backing it, they can rehypothecate it, they can suppress the price, they can do whatever they need to do to simply just, serve their best interests, not ours.
Exactly. And you have to be smarter than them. And that is our goal. My personal goal for years has been to translate this financial noise into understandable language so that you can make educated choices that put your best interest first. So this one's yours, Kenneth.
Okay, yeah, we've got Lou Brock 1550 says crypto and Bitcoin are now risky. I watched a video yesterday that stated it can now be hacked by AI. What can't be hacked is physical precious metals held in your own possession. And yeah, I mean, what I would say is, it's not even that it's now risky; it's inherently always been risk. One of the most eye-opening things that you've ever shown me is when you take the NSA white paper on how to make a mint from, what was that, the 80s?
96.
96, sorry, 96.
1996. But that does mean they were working on it in
Right,
the 80s,
in
but
the
it was
80s.
published in 1996.
Right, in 1996. And then you look at the white paper for Bitcoin, which was released in January of 2009, right after the Great Financial Crisis. They're the same thing. They're literally talking about the same exact concept. And so this has always just been another form of manipulation by Wall Street, by these companies that, how much Bitcoin does BlackRock have? And now you can invest in the, Bitcoin through them. It's always been just a vehicle of them, again, serving their own best interest and taking away our ability to even now hold our wealth in the form of cash.
Right, and it's not just cash, because cash can be inflated away.
Right.
It's a debt instrument. Look on the bill of the U.S. dollar, Federal Reserve note. The Federal Reserve is a private corporation, and a note is a debt instrument. And so when you're talking about any companies like BlackRock, just recently bought a private equity company, right? And their goal is to expand into private equity. But not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, actually, just before I left for my vacation, for the trip to Australia, my vacation, they were limiting withdrawals in their private equity holdings.
Yeah.
But wait, we'll get it in retirement plans. A properly diversified portfolio, and especially if you're going to have intangible assets, so whether those are stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, cryptocurrencies, all of that is intangible. If you're going to have that, you need some hard assets, sound money, to properly diversify that portfolio. So, yeah, this cannot be hacked, but what they do is they use the Comex, going back to the first question, they use those paper contract markets to manipulate the visible price. They don't say this is a spot gold contract. They refer to it as gold or silver, and they can make as much of it as they want to until they can't. Remember, this whole thing is a big con game. And every con game requires confidence. And that confidence, I haven't been able to really, bear with me, because I did just get back a couple days ago. But it looks like small business confidence is down. It hasn't broken the levels yet. I did glance at that. Consumer confidence, inflation expectation, all of these things are working against the system, but they're all telling the same story. Yeah. And that's really that the public is losing confidence.
Right. Yeah. And we're not even that far into these rising gas prices, which affects all of that too. And we'll have to see how that continues to go. It's a whole thing, like when we're at the end of a currency's life cycle, how everything plays out. It's not just a snap of the fingers overnight. It takes time.
Right. And no matter what happens, even if the war against the Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine was over, if the war in the Middle East was over, the damage that's been done to the infrastructure and to the confidence, that doesn't go away just like that. This is a trading market. This goes back to the other question about the Comex exchange, but even all the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, all of these exchanges, what are they moving on? When I looked this morning, they were very close to all-time highs.
Right. Yeah.
What difference does it make? And hey, those trading revenues at JP Morgan Chase, those trading revenues were awesome. We'll be looking at the OCC report on derivatives.
Oh, yeah.
With all those trading revenues, which are what banks count on to make their money. This is just a big trading market. Don't be fooled by the lies.
Yeah. The Q1 report for 2026 of the OCC is, very interesting because you start to see how these banks actually operate with one another. But that's really where the interesting part comes in. Yeah, they have our deposits, but how do they deal with one another? And how they really make their money, right? How do they really do that?
But you brought up their deposits, right? And I think it's Citi, but don't hold me to that. It could be PNC. Somebody that I was listening to and I grabbed it, I just haven't had a chance to look into it, was looking at buying, one of the commercial banks was looking at buying a large regional bank for its depositor base.
Wow.
Because that's cheap funding for them. Your deposits fund their trading.
Yeah.
Right? And they can create as many of these contracts, an unlimited amount of contracts. There's no limitations. In the physical world, there are limitations, and I don't care how much there are.
Right.
There are still limitations. So just don't be fooled, because the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, I believed it from the minute I saw it, and I believe it today, is a Trojan horse. When they make these transitions from this current debt-based paper system into a fully digital system, which that's the rendition of a Bitcoin. It's garbage. It's designed to look like this.
They're trying to trick you with this to think, oh, look at it, it's gold, and you can touch this coin, but
it's not real. That's just a physical representation, right?
It's nothing.
Don't be fooled. It's a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Kenneth, that's what it says on here. So I was just reviewing BlackRock's capital deployments for Q1 of 2026, and there's a huge glaring contradiction on their balance sheet right now that every steward in charge of a legacy needs to look at very closely. Make sure that you send that to me, and I'll pull it up and I'll take a look at it too. Mm-hmm. If you follow institutional money, you know that over the last 18 months, BlackRock has executed one of the most aggressive buying sprees in financial history. AES Corp for physical energy infrastructure, GIP for global infrastructure, Elm Street for their commercial real estate, and HPS Investment Partners. In total, they have taken, look at what a good job you've done. Thank you so much. In total, are these your notes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's okay.
Go for it.
No, go right ahead.
No, you keep going, because that's great. I'm like, thank you for doing all of this great work.
So it just was to show, because it's to your point with BlackRock and assets under management and why these companies buy other companies, how they just look at the balance sheet to add to their own position. It's not about helping us, right?
Right. Yeah. And it is also taking on a lot more debt and a lot more leverage. And when things go south, like we've seen recently with BlackRock, right? And all of this private equity.
Correct.
And their goal is to be the private equity. They want to own private equity, just like, to your point, they own everything else.
Yeah, and that's what these acquisitions are about. I mean, they're procuring power grids. They're getting commercial land, heavy infrastructure, even like transportation networks, right? So on paper, it just kind of looks like maybe an aggressive institutional expansion.
Monopoly. Can you say monopoly?
Yes. Exactly, monopoly. But what that's really them doing is, in essence, taking the debt on, being more cash light. And what are they doing? They're walking out the back door with the hard assets,
right?
With infrastructure, with digital assets, the crypto, everything, and they're chaining the fire exits on the people
Right.
that are in that H-Lend fund where they're capping redemptions, and people are saying, hey, I'm worried about what I'm seeing here. I want to get my capital out. And they're saying, yeah, too
no.
bad.
Yep. Too bad, so
Right.
sad. So don't be fooled. This silver used in 36 different sectors of the global economy. Gold used in 33 different sectors of the global economy. This stuff, this paper stuff, one sector of the global economy, except a lot of trading, right?
Yeah.
So if they say no, if the markets say no, it's intangible.
Yeah.
What can you do? There's nothing you can do. This is safety. This is liquidity. This is the broadest base of demand and the broadest base of functionality. This is a big fight. That's what you need.
Yeah, and to your point too about a lot of trading with this stuff, when you look at like the M2 money supply, in your, I guess, all your expertise, would you look at it as like a kind of like a game of hot potato? Who is going to be holding the most of this when that fuse goes off?
Who's going to be holding not so much this, but it's all of the debt and leverage on top of this, which is debt and leverage to begin with, because it's corporate debt.
Correct.
And by the way, I don't think you've seen this yet, but this very complicated chart that I came across from the central bank showing the birth of the system and how corporate debt was actually turned into the money supply. Kelly just finished doing that because it was as clear as mud. It was hard to read. It was because it was a very old document. But I'll be doing something on that, and I think you'll find that extraordinarily interesting. The time to be in debt is not now. This is the time to be in savings and in safety. And that's what gold is. And if you're not, you're losing your freedom, because that's the whole point.
Right. Yeah. And to go back to our strategy too, one of the most integral parts of the strategy is using this to pay off that fixed rate debt when they do that first overnight revaluation. So that way you're not caught up in the restructuring of debt that banks do, financial institutions do.
Exactly. Because it's never in your best interest. It wasn't in 2008, and it hasn't been since then or ever.
Yeah, no, never, right? If you're there, the way I look at it is there's always going to be somebody who stands to gain and somebody who stands to lose. And if you have no power over what is being done, you're the one that's standing to lose. But with real sound hard money, you're the one that has the power, because this cannot be inflated away. It cannot be traded digitally back and forth. You are the sole owner of this asset once it's in your possession.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very good point. So it's good to be back.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for all your efforts while I was gone.
It's my pleasure.
And I also got a little applause because I managed somehow to connect.
Oh, yes.
All
I know.
by myself.
That was a good
when
connection.
Emerald was there the first time, it was easy.
Yeah.
Because she did it. I did it the other two.
I know. It was great.
And no matter where you are in the world, I know that together we can really make this happen. I definitely believe we have a shot at it, because we're more powerful together than we are apart. So let's do that. And until next we meet, wherever you are in the world, please be safe out there. Bye-bye.